the webinar. And Rachel, if you're there, I think we understand that you're coming to us from Audubon. So we can kind of make some of this information for you if you want to pop on for a second and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hi. Yes, I'm from Audubon Charter School, and I'm a Chinese teacher here now, and they have I teach 4th to 8th grade Chinese in Audubon Charter School now. Yeah.
Wow, great.
And yeah, and I'm from China. I have a bachelor's degree in English and education in China. And since I'm teaching here now, so I'm interested in the like the teaching certificate and programs here in here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
Mm.
perfect. So we have partnerships with Audubon, which is why I was asking. Big fans. We're big fans over here. So I'm glad to hear that you are doing well there. Is this your first year?
Yes, I just came in August for the new semester. Yeah.
My goodness. Well, congratulations and welcome. That's quite a feat. And you're already thinking about a degree, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
As a first year teacher. So I'll introduce myself first. I'm Kelly McClure, and I'm the director of the program, as well as a professor of practice. I've been with Tulane now for 2 years. And prior to this, I have done a variety of things around schools. I've led a charter and helped found one up in Boston, Massachusetts. I was the academic director for a charter management organization like the one that you are part of now. I've done some nonprofit work around helping teachers become leaders from their buildings and where they sit so they can stay in their classrooms. And I've also worked in special education at the state. And so now I'll hand it over to my colleague.
Mhm.
Hi, Rachel. I'm Claudine Davis. I am the program manager for the K-12 pre-K-12 programs here in SOPA. And I've been here a little under a year. And prior to this, I worked in the K-12 school district in a variety of ways. And here I am, ready to work with new teachers like yourself who are seeking certification.
Mhm. Thank you.
Great. So it's nice to meet you. So we'll move through the slides, and Rachel, just feel free to pop in at any time that you have a question, and we'll pause every now and again, but you can feel free to interrupt us. So generally, one of the points that we're really proud of here is that Tulane was founded back in 1834. And it was only about 50 years after that where our school in the School of Professional Advancement began. And so 1886 is a long time to have been around in America. But we started and continue to be a school that was founded and focused on adult learners who are already sometimes doing their practice as you are, and who have a degree in something else and are interested in extending their learning. And so while we switch to the next slide, I'll just welcome Jacqueline to the call.
Hi.
Hi there. And you can move it forward. Great. So we want to tell you a little bit about the program overall before we talk about specifics in teacher certification. We know that you come to the call tonight with, a variety of options here, and really good options, frankly, around the greater New Orleans area. I want to tell you about a few things that make our programs distinct. And so first is just the point of accessibility. It's something that we consider a point of pride with our programs. Across the School of Professional Advancement, we really try to meet the needs of our adult learners by making things either online accessible or through hybrid modalities. We try to make, we use a Canvas course, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but it's a way for organizing courses so that you can keep yourselves organized, and there can be sort of what, you know, in common parlance is called the asynchronous components of learning, so that those are all accessible and clear and engaging. We have a number of programs that we'll be talking about tonight, as well as some amazing faculty, all of whom have served in one capacity or another in pre-K-12 schools. And so whether as teachers or as administrators, everyone here is sort of steeped in the practice. And I think that really helps in particular, so that we can stay abreast of what's happening in classrooms now, and we keep the focus on practitioners rather than that sort of more academic theoretical level, which we can do as handily as well. Our school overall, the Professional Advancement School, is really well known for student support, and that comes in a variety of ways that we'll talk about in a moment. We have affordable programming, which a lot of folks out in the community do not associate us with. We know that we're recognized as a rigorous and more elite college, which we are, but we also have strived to make our programs accessible through affordability and also flexibility, so that we program all of our teacher prep courses in the after hours of schools, so that folks can do their day jobs and grab a bite to eat and then show up for classes. And then, of course, that speaks to Tulane in general. Most of the community really knows us by name and by reputation, and we're known nationally as, you know, a prestigious school. We have all of that to offer, but we're also trying to keep these programs as close to the ground and real and based on real needs as possible. So on the next slide, just a little touch on, you know, the scale and the depth and quality. As you can see, we have a great deal of experience with online coursework. We have a number of degrees apart from the ones that you'll hear from about tonight. And they can be degrees, they can be certificates, they can be add-on endorsements and so forth. And as I was mentioning in the previous slide, the quality of our faculty, all recognized professionals in their fields, and award-winning at that. Next slide. Claudine, would you like to talk us through the next couple of slides?
Sure. Currently, we offer two different pathways to certification. One is early childhood, which is the pre-K through third grade. And that program requires students to complete 30 semester hours through the course of a few semesters, and it includes the teaching residency that's required by the state. The other would be secondary education, which is our 6th through 12th grade certification pathway. And that one has to be content driven. So the different contents are listed, such as English, math, social studies, and science specifically. We offer physics, chemistry, or biology. And then, of course, we have the foreign language certification, which is aligned to the world languages. These are the requirements for each of the programs. As I mentioned before, the early childhood requires 33 hours of coursework, which is equivalent to 11 courses. Those 11 courses include the residency courses that are required and the 180 hours of field experience that's required by the state. And secondary is very similar. The only difference is that secondary certification requires 27 hours of coursework as opposed to 33. You have two options for the certification, either student teaching residency or practitioner residency. And I'll speak specifically to yours situation, Rachel, you're already a practicing teacher, so you can use that experience to fulfill your residency requirements. And so that is a year-long residency. Jacqueline, I know you didn't get a chance to tell us about yourself, but if you are a practicing teacher, then you would also have that opportunity to use your current your experience as a practicing teacher to fulfill your residency requirements. And if not, then you also have the student teaching option as well to fulfill those requirements.
So,
And just I'll add in too that it's not only the residency, but the 180 field hours can be fulfilled by being a practicing teacher. So you wouldn't have to go out and get additional hours that can be included in what you already do as part of your day job.
good, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Claudine, sorry.
We also offer 2 endorsements, which is the special education mild to moderate add-on and the teaching English learners endorsement as well. The special education endorsement requires 6 additional courses, and the English learner endorsement requires 4 additional courses. And those courses are just like the other courses. They are scheduled at a time where practicing teachers are able to fit these in their schedules, and most of them are done through the hybrid method.
So I can pick up here, and this is picking up on what I was talking about a little bit earlier in terms of flexibility. So as I had mentioned earlier, we have online, in-person, and hybrid options. You can be a full-time student, you can be a part-time student, you can come in the spring, summer, or fall, and you can do either as full-time or part-time. You could do our programs under 2 years if you choose to, and if you needed to take longer than that is absolutely acceptable. The add-on endorsements that Claudine was just talking us through can also be completed in under a year. We are accredited, which is actually a fairly important and special piece of the puzzle for colleges. CAPE accreditation is sort of the standard bearer across the country in terms of schools of education. And so we're proudly endorsed and accredited by that organization. For every student that we have a dedicated academic advisor. This is someone that you would meet with on a semesterly basis at the very least, and more if you needed. The person can help you navigate how to pull your schedule together, what courses to take in what order, and just general questions that you have about the program. As we mentioned earlier, we have expert faculty with experience in all of the subject areas that we mentioned at all the grade levels, and we are known not only in the education program here, but sort of throughout the university as having some of the best faculty. And I mean that when I say it, because I read the evaluations at the end of every semester, and when I tell you that almost without exception, we hear again and again on every one of our instructors that it's the best instructor they've ever had. I'm pretty proud of that. Our faculty are amazing. We're a smaller program, and so it's a very personalized touch here. You'll get to know all of us and you very, very well over the course of the program. There are great networks of peers and other Tulane alumni in our program. Right now, we are currently partnering with at least 20 different schools in Greater New Orleans and in Jefferson Parish, as well as St. Bernard and a few that are beyond that. We have Tulane graduates who are teaching across the city. And we're really proud of that. We also have internally a career advisor. So just in connecting you with the right schools for you, in making sure that you get all of your paperwork in order so that you get your certification and your regular job, and any perks that sort of come with that. So those are all just, kind of a smattering of the supports that we have. We have writing centers as well, like all colleges, just sort of a what we call wraparound program for everyone that enters. Next slide. Yeah. So affordability is the part that I love to talk about because it's surprising. If you go to any of the schools in this area, you will find that this is a competitive price, which is pretty shocking considering it's Tulane. For each course, it's about, let's do the math, just about $1,800 for each course. Is that right? Am I doing that right? Yes. You're the math person, Claudine. But yeah, so each course is 3 credits each. There's financial aid, as you might imagine, across all schools. But we also have different types of grants and loans and aid, frankly. There are federal grants and loans. There's what's known as the Yellow Ribbon Program. And then we offer a 20% discount, obviously for the 2 of you who are on the call tonight, because you are already New Orleans area teachers. And so since you work in schools, you already get that 20% discount off the top. I will also mention just on the side here, though it's not in writing, that you may have heard we are the recipients of a seed grant from the federal government. And what that means is in these next 3 years, we are looking for folks, perhaps you, who are looking to make a career here in New Orleans. And we'll be putting out information in the next few months about that. But the seed grant essentially allows us to pay for your schooling should you be accepted to the program. So that will come. We'll probably have everything finalized by March or April of next year, and be ready to go. Next slide. Applying is very simple. It's even, I think, more simple than this makes it look. There's an application, there's a fee, but you don't have to pay because you came tonight. Part of that application, you're going to upload an ID, and then you send in your transcripts electronically. And that's really it. It's a very streamlined process. We do that again as part of our promise to be accessible. Next slide. You want to go through these, Claudine?
Sure. So we have our upcoming deadline for the spring semester, which is January 1st. The early enrollment scholarship deadline is December 1st. And that's basically if you apply, get accepted, and complete your registration by that time, then you get a $200 scholarship for completing everything ahead of the curve. If you chose to start in the summer, then that gives us a May 1st deadline, with the early enrollment scholarship being April 25th. And in the fall, the deadline is August 1st, and that early enrollment scholarship is June 1st. So we do encourage those who are interested to go ahead and apply, especially once you attend the webinar, because your application fee is waived. So it doesn't cost anything for you to apply. And if you're accepted in the program and you want to continue with everything, at least you've already gotten that first part out of the way. And then you can work on just getting everything else in for the early enrollment scholarship. This is our contact information. Kelly and myself, if you have any questions, you can give us a call or send us an email, which is probably the quickest way to get connected with us. But feel free to reach out with any questions. It doesn't matter how big or small, and we will be happy to assist in any way we can.
I have a question.
Sure.
Great.
So for the subjects, so since I realized the foreign language doesn't have Chinese in it, and if I choose English subject, and then what's the difference between like choosing an English subject and the teaching English learner add-on?
Yeah, so I can take the part of that question.
Uh,
Well, one is, Rachel, for the add-on, it is just that, which means you don't get an add-on, a formal add-on, unless you are already certified. So how it usually works is folks get their bachelor degree, then they get a certification in a specific area, and then you add on an additional either special education or English language learners. That does not mean, of course, that you couldn't do them in tandem or that you couldn't, start with those courses. We are going to open up, in fact, next fall to have what's called a certificate for English learners. And so you could take the 4 courses and you would earn a graduate certificate from Tulane University on that. To your first point, though, I think a further conversation might be needed here. And Claudine, let me know if you heard the same thing. Since you teach Chinese full-time, is that right, Rachel?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so we would need to look at the agreement that we have with the state with regard to what you teach and how we would get you certified, essentially, because at the moment we do not offer Chinese, but we can look into what is possible there. So we'll follow up with you after the call about that information.
Okay, I'm interested in both Chinese and English.
And English. Okay, great.
And are you interested in English at the secondary level? Because I know you mentioned teaching 4th grade. So I wasn't sure if you're interested at secondary. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, it's secondary.
Secondary English? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And also looking forward to more information on the massive teaching program. And yes.
Sure, I can tell you a little bit about that now. And we didn't have it here tonight because essentially we are still under the approval process. And so we have proposed 3 new programs. Right now, we have told you about the program that exists, which is a post-bac certification. We have proposed to our various entities an undergraduate major, which of course is not for either of you, but there's also an MAT, Masters of Art in Teaching, that will have all of the exact same things that you just saw. And so that program is set to open next summer pending approval. So we have gone through Tulane and been approved, and we've gone through the Louisiana Department of Ed and we've been approved. Right now, we are waiting for final approval from our regional accrediting body, which is an accrediting body for all universities. And we will hear the final word on that in March. If all goes well, we will open the MAT in the summer of next year. And so a lot of the program will look exactly like what we've talked through tonight. And again, if that is something that you're interested in and you think that you might stay in New Orleans in the long term, then funding options will be available through the SEED grant.
Yes, and so if so you said the MAT program will open like in March or April, and
it'll open in the summertime, more
okay.
June. We'll have final answers and ability to apply to it for March and April.
Okay, then if I want to apply for the for this program, for the certificate program, and then for the summer, then this program will start in May the 1st, right?
If you wanted to start this certification program, what we're working on right now is an agreement within Tulane so that those who are already in the program that we've been talking about tonight can convert their coursework, right, to the Masters of Art in Teaching. So we're still working on what that looks like. This program will begin, we have our, well, it's begun, but you can join this program for the spring semester, which actually starts in January, right? So if you were excited about taking the certification program, you could start as early as January. And then it would be up to you whether or not you'd want to think about moving your program over to the master's degree.
Yes, and yeah, and we can do that, right?
Yes, well, that is what we are waiting for final agreement on. But yes, we're working on the avenues for that to happen, and we know that it can in some way, shape, or form. But we can't give you details until we have it signed off.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
And just while we're on the topic of growth, we have also proposed a third leg to this tour, which is a master's in education. That is less for folks like us who are classroom teachers and looking to be certified. And it's really for more experienced educators who then might want to go on to do leadership or specialize, as we were talking earlier, in English language learners, or with special education populations, or even do something like learner experience design. So that's just another option. I think it's not as prevalent or relevant to what your interests are tonight, but just to let you know that that is also pending approval. Jacqueline, how about you? Do you have questions?
I do have a question. And I think you answered my first question, because my first question was about the add-ons. Do you earn the certification first and then get the add-ons? My second question is about the year of practitioner. Is it a school year, or can it just be a year? Like if I start in the spring, which would be in January, but like we're halfway into the school year, and then the summer, there would be no teaching over the summer, but then back in the fall, that would be another school year. Like, would that count, or does it have to be like one full school year?
No, just what you described, both are possible. So we have people who you can start the program anytime, and you can do most of our courses at any point. There's a progression, obviously, but the residency, which comes at the end, you could do a school year that starts in the fall and ends in the spring. Or as a practicing teacher, it'd be just as easy for you to say, well, I'm finished with my coursework and I'm ready to take my first residency course in the spring, and then I'll take my last one in the fall.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions, you guys? All right, then hopefully you have our name and information. We certainly have yours, and we'll be reaching out. Edna Carr, that's great. We've been wanting to get over. I love Edna Carr, and you actually, Jacqueline, are part of an amazing department from what I've seen. I had the pleasure of touring a couple of years ago and got to sit in on English classes from 9th through 12th grade, and was just really impressed. Have you guys continued to use the guidebooks as your curriculum?
Yes, we still use the guidebooks.
Okay, what grade do you teach?
This is my first year teaching the 10th grade, so English too. But previously I've taught 9th grade. Okay.
Yeah, Edna Carr is a great school and just an amazing climate over there. So lucky you. That's great. All right, well, please be in touch with us. Let us know if you have any questions or need any help with any more information. We're here and happy to support you in whatever way we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.